Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you see before you, we are going to do a cassette belt job on the Emerson today. And hopefully this doesn't get it quite as messy as some of the ones I've done in the past, but we'll just have to see. I confess I'm really not looking forward to this too much because I'm still kind of getting used to my new glasses, so we'll just have to see what we can see here. Well, I guess there's no time but the present to get started, so let's start getting into it. I have never had one of these open before, so we'll find out how it comes apart together, I guess. Take that off first. And if I knock the camera over, just bear with me. I'm using Filmic Pro for the very first time, and I've got the phone on a tripod instead of on the gimbal this time. So, something else new I haven't tried before. Okay, we'll do the top screws first. We got a short one there. And sometimes they don't cooperate, like that one. Another short one there. Don't know about the middle one because it wouldn't come out. Oh, there's a long one there. Got to keep that in mind. Short, long, and short for the top row. I'm just going to put these out of the way here so I can find them later. We'll just do some bottom screws here. Short one there. Can't tell you how many times these 10-inch long screwdrivers have saved me with these kinds of things. Got another short one in the middle. Just one more, I think. That's the one I'm working on right now. Which must be loose because the back's already coming off. Okay, let me see what I'm dealing with here. Interesting. I think somebody may have been inside this before. Not sure if you can really see it too well, but here, this post is a little bit broken. At least that's the way it appears to me. Let me see if I can get this screw to come out so we can tell how long it is. It's not coming out. Because of course it isn't. Oh yeah, that's actually broken. So we had a long screw there, and apparently it was broken off inside. Terrific. We are off to such a great start today. Fortunately, it doesn't look like it's too hard to separate the back from the rest here. Got to get rid of this grounding screw here. I'm just going to reinstall this screw real quick. Like so. Got a connector there and a connector here. Are we making progress? Yes, we are, finally. That took a little bit. Now we've got one more connector to undo, way down in here. Right by the AC receptacle. Which is not cooperating, because of course it isn't. There we go. Finally. Oh, missed one. There. Now we can move this off to the side. And we'll just take a bit of a closer look here. Look at that cute little CRT in there. Ain't that adorable? And I'm just realizing I forgot my flashlight. Boy, was I ever prepared for this one today. Anyway, got the flashlight so we can take a look inside there. I don't see any obvious capacitor issues, but then again, I probably wouldn't. Not gonna lie, there's probably a few bad ones in there, but it's really not that easy to see myself actually using this very often, so I'm just gonna leave them alone. And yeah, this definitely looks like Taiwanese quality of the 80s. So, the question is, how do we get down to the cassette mechanism in this thing? It is a good question, I reckon. Okay, that just pulls out. Take the sliders off the top here. Lose one inside the unit. Looks like the TV board comes out fairly easy, but we're not really doing anything with the TV board today, so I'm not looking to mess with that. Okay, I think we're going to have to get rid of some more connectors here. Like everything down in there. And yes, I think we'll have to get the tuning knobs off the top too, I guess. And yeah, we're just gonna have to unplug some connectors here. Get that one. And this blue one. And this little one up in here, which is this coaxial lead here. Let's see, what else we got? Okay, that goes to the CRT. We can leave that alone. What about this wire, though? That goes back in there somewhere. There's a connector on it. We can't access it from here. I might just have to pull the CRT board out. I can't really see any other good way to do this. But who knows? Let's try and at least get this board out now. Be nice if I had a service manual, but I don't. I'm going to stop recording for a second. Okay, so I think I got this figured out. There's a couple of screws we got to deal with. One is right down in there, and the other is right down in there. And I think once those come out, we can get this board out. Now, can I adjust Filmic Pro on the fly to use a different camera? Not sure. Never used it before. Ah, what the heck, I'll just leave it alone. I'm using the normal camera right now. So I'll get these screws out real quick and hopefully I can pull this board out far enough to get at the cassette mechanism. I just love it when screws don't come out on your magnetically charged screwdriver. That way they can just fall off inside the unit and just go anywhere they want. Isn't that just wonderful? Put these off to the side. Now, is this going to come out? Not sure, actually. Trying not to damage anything, but she's making it kind of difficult, I'm seeing. Looks like you have to bend up the top panel in order to get this out. But she's kind of moving. Again, we don't want to get this too close to the CRT neck, which it is very much threatening to do right now. Okay, we've got a board to slide out on this side. Speakers are soldered in because of course they are. Why make things easy for the tech trying to fix it? Lots of zip ties everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut all those zip ties and then replace them later. I'll just give you a little look here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we can make this work with just the 4 being cut. If I have to, I'll do the rest of them. Can already see what's going on with the tape deck. The belt has completely slipped off, and it's made of pure goo, because of course it is. That's the way belts go in these things. Okay, here we go, snipping some zip ties. What the heck, I might as well cut them all. I can clean up my mess later. Looking at 35-year-old zip ties anyway, might as well get rid of them. Okay, now off of this little board down in here, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if I can make the camera see it. This one here, we've got a little connector to unplug. If it will let me do so. Fighting hard. Probably because there's a catch on it. You gotta press down on the little tab in order to get that loose. Now let's see what else is joining the tape deck to this rest of this board. Okay, we've got another connector down here. Can't really see it too well. It's this one. And I don't know if I can get the tape deck out without removing the rest of this board and screwing around with a bunch of stuff I don't want to screw with, but I'm hoping to, because I don't really want to mess with this too much. And yeah, while we're in here, we should probably look into why the FM reception wasn't so good. That might be more to do with the antenna. Okay, let me see here. Good gravy, this thing's a nuisance. I need more room to work here, so got another zip tie to get rid of. Just so I can pull this black plastic piece out a little further to get more room for access. And there's this other little connector way back in there I'm going to unplug. That one right there. Now we've got some room to work. Now we can get that cassette mechanism out. Looks like 4 screws, 2 up top and 2 down below. Okay, that should be it. Just a quick note, you do have to pop the eject mechanism before you can get the mechanism out. The transport, that is. And we're going to have to disconnect a couple more wires here. So I'll bring you over here and show you which ones. Got this 2-pin right here and a 3-pin up here. Oh, and another 3-pin up here. The brown cable, this one goes up top, right there. Okay, now the mechanism's free. We've got her out. We'll just slide this up here. After making sure the CRT isn't broken. Unfortunately, it is not. Okay, here's the mechanism. Not the most durable I've ever seen, but not too terribly bad. Just taking a look at all the gears in here just to make sure there's nothing broken. Looks all right. Counter belt does appear to be spinning the counter, but it is obviously stretched, so we're going to want to replace that. I'll just pull that off right now. Hopefully my belts that I've got aren't too thick, because this is obviously much thinner than the ones I have. But we'll see. I'll put that off to the side for now. And now I'm just going to try and figure out what the tape path is supposed to be here. Looks like we've got a dual belt thing going on here. We've got a belt that goes from the motor to this pulley and also from the motor to this one. So one of those is wrapped around the motor pulley, so we're going to have to figure out exactly what the length we need to go with is. And yeah, these belts are just not good at all. So I'm going to shut you off again and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Off camera, I decided to go ahead and brush off some of the dust from around this mechanism. So hopefully we can get her nice and clean now. Still got a little bit of dust to get rid of, but that's okay. And looking at this, I'm sorry to say, but this doesn't quite meet my definition of the word quality so much. So I don't know how often I'm going to actually be using this. With that said, it does seem to be in fairly good shape yet, so I think we can get her going. We'll do a full cleaning, of course, but I don't know how far I really want to get into this. But nothing's happening just sitting here, and what the heck is going on with this? Terrific. I've got a soft close thing that fell out or something. Oh no, wait, I see how that goes in. There's this little post way back in there. Let me show you. You're upside down now, but it's just right back in here. Don't know if you can see it. That's where that goes. Here, let me try and give you a flashlight on the situation. That little black post right there. That's where that mechanism goes. But we don't have to worry about that right now. What we do have to worry about right now is getting this serviced. Now, first things first, I gotta go glove up again. Otherwise, this is gonna get messy. Okay, gloves are on. I guess the first thing we gotta do is pull this motor off. Unfortunately, we already found out in the previous video that the motor is functional, which is good because I don't want to replace another motor. Take this little metal piece off. Set that over there. Swallow some of the fizzy sugar I shouldn't be drinking right now. And yes, I know I should really be kicking the fizzy sugar, but literally tried to do that well over a dozen times by now. Been addicted to the stuff since the 80s, so it's not so easy. Okay, there's our mess, as you can see. It's quite a mess. All of these belts are done for, and have been done for a while. And I need to go get my dental pick. Fortunately, my dental pick was right behind me. Didn't even have to pause ya. Everything's just melted into a gooey mess. What else is new? Yeah, let's focus, Mr. Camera. Never mind. Should have really bought shop towels before this, but I didn't. Shop towels work a lot better than paper towels, I'll tell you what. Looks like some of the belt is wrapped around the shaft of the motor too, which is not good at all. That'll definitely cause playback issues if we don't get it cleaned up. But yeah, as far as the mechanism goes, I've definitely seen a lot better than this, but I've also seen worse, so it kind of fits with my impressions of Emerson as being a more budget-friendly brand that's a fair bit down the scale from Panasonic and Sony and the like, but definitely not bottom of the barrel, because I have seen worse than this, trust me. Just trying to get all the goo out from the motor shaft because we don't want any there at all. And wouldn't you know it, I've got the song Beverly Hills by Weezer stuck in my head. Just what I wanted. Nothing against Weezer, but that's not one of their better songs. Just gotta say that. Okay, I've done just about everything I can with the dental pick. Well, except for this here. It's trying to get this little belt segment out. There. Now we got to do the rubbing alcohol on the Q-tip thing. And honestly, I don't actually get the appeal of Beverly Hills at all. I've been there in '93. I guess it was cool seeing all the big houses and stuff, but wouldn't want to live there. Oh boy, is this ever a mess. Hard to see that, but there goes one Q-tip. Q-tip number 3. Gotta get this all thoroughly cleaned up. Don't want any old rubber remaining in there because it's gonna stick to the new belt and cause problems. Much better go at it with the dry side of the Q-tip yet and see if there's any residue still on there. And yeah, I guess there was a little bit. Which means one thing, we got to get back in there with yet another Q-tip. Actually, I think we've got 2 pulleys stacked on top of each other down there. Yeah, never mind, it's clean. I just had a little bit of Q-tip stuck in between those 2 pulleys. At least I think it's clean. I hope it's clean. Let me just chase it with a paper towel real quick. Doesn't hurt to be thorough. Grab the dental pick. Just sort of go like this. And then we'll get right down into the grooves. That way we can get all the way down. And yeah, we do have a little bit of blackness on the paper towel, so I guess we gotta keep going a little more. Alright, that's probably about as good as we're going to get it. Take another swig of the old bubbly. Now, I think what I'm going to do before I proceed any further, we've got a couple of micro switches here and here. I'm going to clean those. Fortunately, I got a brand new thing of contact cleaner. My old can was so depressurized I couldn't get anything out of it anymore, so in comes the new can. There are a few parts in here that could probably use re-greasing too with the Lubriplate. Yeah, Lubriplate. Some days I don't know about me. Okay, now in order to access the capstan, which does have a little oil keeper on it, so bear that in mind. It's probably going to fall out in a minute here. Just gonna see if I can get this capstan out so we can clean it better. Set this aside somewhere. And out she comes. I'm going to go looking for the oil keeper right away so I don't lose it. There it is right there. And we'll take this little idler gear out because we want to clean that too. And it's easier to do with it outside the mechanism. Looks like I will be adding a little Lubriplate to the tip of it also. Okay, before I get started on this, how easy is it going to be to get that big white sliding piece out so I can lubriplate the thing? It's not the easiest thing to get access to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that alone because all this 35-year-old plastic's just going to break if I try and push that too far. So, next thing is next. We will try and clean and lubricate that capstan bearing if we can, because this went so well on the other deck I did like this. Oh wait, you know what? I don't even have to do this. This stuff is 90% alcohol anyway, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And we'll just wait for that to dry and then we'll lubricate it real good. With some brand new Anderol. And in the meantime, we'll bring that back over here and we will try to clean up these pulleys. Not much of a flywheel here compared to what was in my silver built decks, but such is to be expected. Like I said in those videos, Shid and Shirasuna owned Harman Kardon back then, and they weren't willing to compromise on even their portable stuff, at least from what I can tell. I haven't seen too many silver decks in person yet, but hopefully that will change. There's a great big multi-band silver unit I would love to get my hands on. It's got more than the usual numbers of shortwave bands on it. I really want that unit. It's an ST-858, I think. Hard to find. There's one on eBay right now and it's not cheap. Where did I put my... Here we go. Gotta clean up off the tip too, because we're going to be re-lubing this. Now, wonder if that's dry by now. Should be. Let's lube the capstan and then we'll try and figure out what size of belt we need for that one. Runs nice and freely. That's what we want. Hold her in place from below and we'll try to get this little teeny tiny oil keeper on. Which went on really easy. Disturbingly easy, in fact. Clean all the oil off the capstan here. Pulling the oil keeper right back off as we do so. It's always nice. Okay, there we go. All right, now we will put this back in and then reinstall that plastic piece because we don't want this falling out again. That would be ungood. Helps if I go try and find my Lubriplate, doesn't it? Even though I already had it on the table. Okay, that appears to be in place. Got a little grease where I didn't want it, but fortunately this happens to be a gear-driven mechanism, so it doesn't really matter all that much. All right, there we go. There we go, we got her in eventually. Time to go back into your home there, Mr. Screw. Living in Beverly Hills. Gimme, 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 gimme. Oh, that song's annoying. Please leave my head, Weezer. This feels a little tight, but it's probably okay. We want the capstan moving freely, and it is. Now, belts. This is gonna be hilarious. Yeah, right. So we're gonna have to run a couple of these screws back in order to do this. If I can figure out where I put my screwdriver, hiding in plain sight. I'm actually going to leave that screw out for now, and I'm going to show you what I do for determining tape length. What we need is the twine. We'll cut the twine in twain. Twooly we will. And we got to thread it through the tape path in order to determine belt length. Maybe it would be easier just to run another screw in there. I'm going to go ahead and do that. There, now maybe that'll stay put. There we go, we got the twine threaded, kinda. And we gotta drop it down through here. My apologies for doing this where you can't see it. Now if we can just get it to loop around the motor pulley, maybe we can figure out what we're dealing with here. There we go. Except now I gotta move it around that little area. And watch it come right off the pulleys. Just be patient, we'll get there. Like right now. Now what we gotta do is we gotta pull it as tight as we can. Watch the string fall right off the pulley again, because that's helpful. All right, that's about as tight as I can make it. And we'll just give her a snip there. And there's our basic internal circumference right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's all blown out in the shot, it looks like, but let me see if I can find a way to get you a good look here. So what we do now is we measure this and we remove 10%. And that's our belt length, or internal circumference, that we want to go with. So, tapey measury. $18 centimeters. So we remove between 1.8 and 2 centimeters. So that's 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So we'll go looking for a belt that stretches out to 8. And that should do it for that belt. We'll do the other one in a minute. All right, make a mess of the belts. I did not think this through, did I? It's not very well. All right, I need a couple of things to stretch. 90, no. 100, no. Bingo! There's our belt right there. At least that should do it. I'll just set that off to the side here. And I really did not think this through because I got to get the mechanism back over here to measure the other belt. Yes, let's just make things incredibly difficult for myself. Why not? Okay, now this other one. I don't know if I can show this to you any better this way or not, but I will make an attempt. Maybe it's actually easier to do it this way. This is a smaller belt, so it's going to be a little bit hard to determine the length of this one. But we'll get there. I don't know if I can get down in there and grab that or not, but I'm thinking not. Yeah, that's real helpful. Thanks for not going where you're supposed to go, Mr. Twine. Wonder what Shania Twine's up to right now. There we go. We got her. If I can just stabilize this enough to come up here and sort of mark with my fingers where to cut this, which I have. There's our second one. So we'll set this aside again. Grab the tape measure. And this one is 135 millimeters. So deduct 13.5. Which is what? My brain isn't working right today. Okay, so we're looking for 121.5, I think. And in no way did I consult a calculator on that one. No, I'm not protesting too much. So we're going to go up to 122 and then half that, so that's 61. We'll call her 60. So we need a 60 belt. Time to make another mess. Hopefully I can find one in here without having to get all the rest of these belts out, because making quite a mess here. All right. 90, 80, 70, we're getting there. $70. Are we getting there? Not sure. That one's going to be too small. That's 50. Yeah, that's too small. There's got to be a 60 here somewhere. Maybe not. Gotta dig around in the bag some more. Yay! Maybe that one. 65, that's the closest one I've found. Nope, that's not gonna do it. I don't want to go too tight with this belt, and definitely don't want to go too loose because that gear is a little hard to move. Come on, Self, you've got to have a belt for this around here somewhere. Let me just check this one again. If it's good enough, I'll use it. You know what? I think it is good enough. So I'm going to use it. Just got to remember the little one goes on the idler pulley. And the rest of these all go back in the bag. And hopefully before too terribly long, we will have a working tape deck on this thing. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm getting kind of tired of working on these cassette decks. They're rather tedious and rather messy, especially with these old belts that turn to goo. And I just dropped a belt on the floor because that's what I wanted to do. There we go. So, bring the mechanism back over. And we will attempt to get these belts in place. I'm going to start this one screw back here, just to hopefully help with this process. Because we got to remember this one can't go in until that other plate comes down on it first. So we've got our belts, and I'm just now realizing I've got to pull this plate back off. So, we can effectively tighten down this screw, put the other screw like it in place, then we can stretch the belts over these pulleys instead of trying to grab them and pull them over the motor pulleys. Now, which one comes first? Let me just take a look real quick here. Okay, the short belt goes towards the motor, and the long belt goes furthest away from the motor. Oh Lord, this is going to be a blast. I just know it. Actually, I'm going to pull that idler out for now. Wait, I can't do that. Because that's the belt that's got to go on first. Okay, it's on the motor. Can I get it around this pulley or not? Without the pulley fighting me. Yes, it would appear that I can. Now, same deal with this one. This one's going to be a little trickier because that grease is not my friend right now. Know what else is not my friend? This dental pick. It's refusing to get the belt around that pulley. Oh, there we go. We got there eventually. And golly, do I wish this Beverly Hills song would get out of my head. There we go. I think we've got her. I hope we've got her. So remember, folks, if you're working on one of these, one belt is 60 millimeters internal circumference. The other one's 80. Well, stretched out. So it would be, let's see, 160 for the big one, internal circumference, and 120. Yes, brain, you can still do math. And it looks like everything's working okay, so that should be all right. Now I'm going to come over to this side. And what I'm going to do on this side, so I'm going to slip a little Lubriplate down in there, I think. Because it does feel a little stiff. That might be a little much. I don't know if that'll help very much, but this whole mechanism feels like it's a little bit needing of lubrication, but like I said, the build quality of this is not such that I would want to play a lot of tapes in it anyway, so because I've got lots better tape decks for that. Might as well do some head cleaning while we're in here. I've already done the capstans, so we won't worry about that. Yeah, the heads are pretty dirty. Hit the capstan again just in case. Now I will need a new Q-tip and we'll break out the Windex for the pinch roller. Because Because like I said, you don't want to use real harsh alcohol on a pinch roller. You'll dry it out. Okay, that should do it. Oh wait, we forgot a belt here. We gotta try and find one for the counter. Fortunately, this belt is intact, so we can just measure this one directly and then deduct 10% and find us a belt that way. So, Mr. Counterbelt, what are we looking for? This one's at 90, so 180. Minus 18. We'll go 20 just to be safe. So 160. Yep, basically the same belt we used. Or is it? Yeah, basically the same belt we used on the capstan pulley. That's what we're looking for on that one. Am I going to get lucky enough to get the right belt without tearing the whole package apart? It's 90, too big. 70, too small. But I'll leave them out just in case. Because that 90 might work if I did my calculations wrong. Which is always a possibility because I haven't had much sleep last night. Living in Beverly Hills. There's the one. Gimme, 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 gimme. Oh, why won't that song leave my head? Alright, let's see if this one works. Living in Beverly Hills. Actually, there's too much dust on there for my liking, so let me get the brush here real quick and get the dust out of the counter. This belt is quite a bit thicker than the one that came off there, so... But by golly, it seems to work. That's if it doesn't bind up on anything inside the mechanism, or inside the housing, which is always a possibility. So yeah, that belt is the exact same as the one that runs the capstan. So I can put these other two belts away. Did not need them. So 2 160s and a 120, that's what you need for this. Now I gotta put all this back together. Oh wait, I've got a plate to reinstall yet. Probably should do that first. Alright, we're done. Theoretically. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut you off now and reassemble off camera, because I might need to consult my other video footage just to see how I took this apart. This is not the most intuitive thing to put back together, I gotta tell you. So I will be back in a while. So here we are. It's all back together and we're about to see if this thing works. Here goes nothing. I'm going to try the TV first just to make sure we didn't neck the TV or neck the CRT or something. I just want to make sure it's okay. And it sure looks to be. And I'll mention right away, this screw did not go back in, thanks to the broken mount in there. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. It's got 5 screws holding it in, so it should be okay. Is the radio still working?
Friday has a +10. For Saturday.
Sure is. Probably should have cleaned those switches while I was in there. I did clean the 3 sliders, but not that switch. Now, let's see what happens before I put a tape in there. Oh, it's moving. I don't know if you can see it, but it's moving. Play works. Rewind. Fast forward is not working. Why isn't that working? Does it really matter? No, I'm really not going to be playing too many tapes with this. As long as rewind works, we can advance the tape if we need to. So, let's see if it actually plays something. Sure looks like it. Is the counter working? Yes, it is. I don't know what's going on with the fast forward. Rewind works plenty well. And I think I'm going to call that a success right there. I could get back in there, fill around with the fast forward, and try to see what's going on with it, but I'm guessing the idler's not moving over properly. Might be broken. As you saw, there's a lot of cheap plastic in there. So yeah, I'm going to call this good, at least as far as this one goes. Like I said, not planning on playing a lot of tapes on this, so I think we're done. Or at least I'm done. You may disagree, but I paid $2.50 for this. So as long as that there TV works, I'm happy. And it does work. See you next video.